Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment below. Your support means the world to us and keeps us motivated to create more amazing videos like this. Let's get started. The story begins with a video of Sarah Connor. In the video, Sarah is sure the world is going to end soon, but then the story jumps back to the year 1998. It turns out that Sarah actually stopped the end of the world from happening. She's now living a calm and happy life with her son John on a beach in Livingston, Guatemala. Suddenly out of nowhere, a T-800 Terminator appears. It points a gun at young John and shoots him without any hesitation. Sarah tries to fight back and fires her gun at the Terminator, but her bullets don't work against the machine. Sadly, John dies and the Terminator walks away, disappearing just as quickly as it came.
A machine took him from me.
The story then moves forward 22 years to the year 2020 in Mexico City. A teenage couple is spending time together when something shocking happens. A strange, bright light flashes under a bridge, and out of it falls a young woman. The couple goes to help her, but before they can do much, the police arrive. The police think the woman is on drugs and try to take her away. However, this woman, Grace, is not a normal person. She's a soldier sent from the future with a very important mission to protect someone named Danny Ramos, and immediately starts her mission to find and protect Danny. Meanwhile, Danny is living a simple life in Mexico City. She helps her family every day, waking up her brother, Diego, and reminding her father to visit the doctor. Diego dreams of becoming a famous singer, and Danny supports him. But this normal life is turned upside down when a new Terminator, called the Rev 9, appears. This Terminator is powerful and deadly. Danny and Diego are at their jobs in an automobile factory. Diego is upset because his role has been replaced by a machine, but Danny tells him to stay positive. When Danny tries to talk to her boss about the situation, things take a terrifying turn. The Rev 9, disguised as her father, shows up with a gun and attacks her. Just as it seems like Danny's life is over, Sarah Connor arrives and saves her. Sarah, Danny, and Diego run for their lives, but the Rev 9 doesn't give up. It has an incredible ability: a strong metal skeleton and a liquid outer shell, making it nearly impossible to escape. Grace tries to fight it using metal bars, but the Rev 9 is too strong. The chase ends tragically when Diego is killed. Before he dies, he begs Grace to make sure Danny stays safe no matter what. Grace and Danny are cornered, and it looks like the Rev 9 will kill them. But then, Sarah shows up again. She uses explosives to damage both parts of the Rev 9 temporarily. The three of them manage to escape. Danny is heartbroken and can't believe everything she's lost. She misses her family and wishes she could go back to her old life. Grace explains that it's impossible to return to how things were. The group takes Sarah's truck and stops at a pharmacy to get medicine for Grace, who is badly hurt from the fight. Grace passes out while Sarah helps her. Sarah takes charge, making sure Grace recovers. Once Grace feels better, they drive to a small motel to hide for a while. At the motel, Danny finally has a moment to think about her brother. She feels deep sadness, knowing that Diego will never get the recognition he deserves, and no one will remember him properly. As Danny grieves, Grace falls asleep and dreams about the dark future she came from. In this future, humanity is at war with terrifying machines called Rev 7s. During one of the battles, Grace is badly injured but is saved by her fellow soldiers. When Grace wakes up, Sarah confronts her with questions. Sarah reveals that ever since her son John died, she's been getting strange messages. These messages tell her where and when new Terminators will appear. Each message says for John, and Sarah has been using them to track and destroy machines. Grace explains that Sarah's actions change the future. The old enemy, Skynet, no longer exists because Sarah destroyed it. But in its place, a new threat has risen, an advanced AI called Legion. Legion was originally created for military purposes, meant to help humans in wars. However, just like Skynet, it became dangerous and turned against humanity, creating an army of machines to hunt down the remaining humans. The survivors formed the Human Resistance. Meanwhile, Sarah and Grace figure out that the mysterious messages Sarah has been receiving are coming from a specific location in Texas. As they travel, the Rev 9 keeps chasing them without stopping. When they finally reach the place where the messages are coming from, they discover something shocking. The messages are being sent by the T-800, the same Terminator that killed John Connor years ago. The same machine that ruined Sarah's life has now changed. After Skynet was destroyed, the T-800 units lost their purpose. Many of them wandered around aimlessly. This particular T-800, after completing its mission of killing John, began to change. Over time, it learned how to think and act more like a human. It even developed a sense of right and wrong. The machine gave itself a name, Carl, and started living a quiet life. Carl now has a family, including a wife, a son named Mateo, and even a dog. He acts like a normal person, bonding with people and doing everyday things. He admits to Sarah that killing John was a terrible thing, something he can never take back. To try and make up for it, Carl started helping Sarah. He sent her information about new Terminators so she could stop them. Now, Carl wants to join the fight against the Rev 9 to protect Danny. Sarah is furious and doesn't want to work with the machine that killed her son, but she knows they need Carl's help to survive. Reluctantly, she agrees. Carl shows them his hidden stash of weapons and trains Danny to defend herself. Before they leave, Carl says an emotional goodbye to his family. He tells them to run far away to stay safe. Soon after, the Rev 9 tracks down Carl's house. But when it arrives, the group and Carl's family are already gone. Together, Sarah, Grace, Danny, and Carl decide to find an EMP. This is a powerful military device that can destroy the Rev 9. With Carl's help, they locate an old friend of Sarah's, a military major, who helps them get the EMPs they need. But before they can leave, the Rev 9 catches up to them. It arrives in a stolen police helicopter, ready to attack. Chaos breaks out as the group tries to fight it off. The major calls for backup from the military, but even with reinforcements, the Rev 9 is unstoppable. The group has no choice but to escape in a stolen plane. However, during the chaos, they lose the EMPs, their best chance of defeating the Rev 9. As they fly away, Grace decides to tell Danny the truth. She explains why the Rev 9 is so determined to kill her. In the future, Danny becomes the leader of the human resistance. She is the one who unites humanity and leads the fight against Legion, the AI system that created the machines. Without Danny, the resistance wouldn't exist, and Legion would win the war. Their moment of reflection is interrupted when the Rev 9 catches up to the plane. It attacks again, managing to temporarily disable Carl. Grace, Sarah, and Danny barely have time to parachute out of the plane. They land in a river near a hydroelectric plant, but the Rev 9 is still chasing them. Inside the plant, the final battle begins. Carl and Grace realize they need to do something drastic to stop the Rev 9. They come up with a plan to use the plant's turbine to create a massive explosion. Together, they force the Rev 9 into the spinning turbine, causing a huge blast. The explosion destroys most of the Rev 9, but it also badly injures Carl and Grace. Even without its full body, the Rev 9 keeps fighting. It seriously wounds Sarah, leaving Danny to face it alone. Danny tries to fight, but the machine is too strong. Grace, in her final moments, tells Danny to use her power source as a weapon. Danny hesitates, but knows it's the only way to win. She removes the power source from Grace and uses it to stab the Rev 9. The power source acts like a bomb, but the Rev 9 is still too strong to finish off. At the last moment, Carl reactivates. Despite his injuries, he grabs the Rev 9 and drags it off a ledge. Carl sacrifices himself as the power source detonates, destroying both him and the Rev 9. The battle is over, but it comes at a heavy cost. Danny has lost so much: her father, her brother, Grace, and even Carl, who gave his life to protect her. Years later, we see Danny and Sarah watching a young Grace, now just a 10-year-old child, playing with her family in a park. It's a bittersweet moment. Danny knows she has to do everything she can to stop Grace from facing the same tragic fate. As they leave the park, Sarah looks at Danny and says, "It's time to get ready. A new war is coming, and Danny must step up to lead the fight."